Recording has began. I'm just going to share my screen. All right. Well, good morning again, everyone. Hopefully a couple others will join us. You know, it's kind of a soggy, damp day after some really nice, unseasonably warm weather. So it's possible everyone is nursing their feelings with where did that early summer go? So grateful that for those who are joining us. This will be a fun office hours. So welcome again. My name is Mark Weinberger. For those who don't know, likely you do, Supervisory Grants Management Specialist here with the OST office, who gets to work alongside the absolutely fantastic team of Grants Management Specialists, including on the call, we have Mr. Marcus Shaw, Ms. Camille Lessig, of course, Ms. Norma Dhanaraj, and Karita Green. And without further ado, we'll get into it. Today, we are going to celebrate Women's History Month and learn about how some of our grant-funded providers and partners are honoring women this month with their school time programs. In addition, we're going to have a brief presentation from Ms. Abigail Cohen from DCPS Partnerships office to discuss some important factors regarding partnership dynamics if you are partnered with DC Public School or intend to. So we'll get into a couple updates. First off, just as a friendly reminder, Invoice 2 is past due at this point. We are trying to encourage and ensure that your organizations receive funds in a timely manner to support program implementation. So please prioritize submission of Invoice 2, which should equate 25% of your grant award. Along with Invoice 2, you must provide spend down reporting, which is any general ledger expenditure reporting, along with receipts, invoices for staff, contractors, etc., representing a minimum of 25% grant expenses. Please email those documents to your grants management specialist for approval prior to submission in DIFs. And then remember, for the second and third invoices, your service period dates must represent past dates of service. If you are closer to Invoice 3 and you've already submitted Invoice 2, once you reach that 60% spend down threshold, you can submit that final invoice for the remaining 25% of your grant award. Compliance reminders. Q3 data will be shared with DCPS OST on March 20th. So that means as of March 18th, you really want to make sure that all of your data is up to date within the grants management system CitySpan. So all your youth participant profiles are completed, submitted, FERPA consent is indicated, whether yes or no, and confirming all the required information fields are addressed within those youth participant profiles. And of course, you must make sure those profiles are enrolled in activities and that attendance is submitted for those enrolled youth. It is essential to have those youth enrolled, attendance submitted for them to, of course, populate your progress report and appear within data that can be easily shared and also easily analyzed by our data team. Our youth survey. It's close to launch. We're not quite there yet. You might have received a notification. You might have some questions. You might have reached out to your grants management specialist. There are a couple kinks and tweaks that must be secure at CitySpan to ensure seamless operation. So we are asking you to please be patient. Thank you for your patience. The survey should be administered to all youth in grades 4 and above with survey consent, and that by the end of the school year, and of course, once in the summer for year-round grantees. To facilitate the survey, it's quite similar, if not the same, as say a Y. You must ensure that survey consents indicated for any youth with consent within their youth profile says yes. Those youth profiles must be enrolled in activities. One day attendance must be submitted, and then survey links will be visible on your survey page. And once operational, we will have a report that you can generate, just like you were able to do so for say a Y, in which you could generate a CSV Excel form for all the URLs in case you have a larger cohort of youth. Smaller cohorts of youth, you can simply go to the Learn 24 Youth survey page, but please look out for forthcoming announcements from our office regarding the survey, and thank you for your patience. Just a reminder about the PQA, the Program Quality Assessment. The deadline for all those who are not in the quality cohort is 5 p.m. on April 10th. So that's just a little under a month away. So hopefully you're prioritizing the process. For quality cohort members, you have a little longer, May 1 for your self-assessment. For non-cohort members, you should have been provided these links. They were in the all grantee email, as well as likely circulated by a grants management specialist. For quality cohort members, you have a YWCA Center scores reporter link, and you should have at this point completed registration with YWCA and confirmed with the Institute for Youth Development, which you'll attain access to those links. So if you are in the quality cohort, you don't have access to the link, please reach out to your grants management specialist and or Mr. Kevin Cataldo or Renee Abdel. Just some reminders here. We covered this last office hours, but just re-upping, and this will be distributed for everyone afterward. And trustfully, you have this information, but just a reminder that 3 assessors should be assessing the program. Technically, only 1 should be admin staff. The staff member who attended the PQA training should train those identified assessors. Each assessor should observe an independent program block and take objective notes during that observation. And then that assessor individually will complete the PQA. All assessors then convene to form a consensus on 1 uniform PQA score set, and then those scores and comments are submitted to the appropriate link by the deadline. And then we've included here a link for resources from the YWCA Center for Youth Investment, and this will go out after this meeting. Just some reminders and clearances, and Ms. Cohen from DCPS will, of course, be addressing some of these matters regarding DCPS. All grant-funded staff, volunteers must have current clearances on file in the grants management system. So if you have a community-based program or DC public charter school program, you're welcome to go through the OST office, DCHR process. If your program takes place at DC public schools, all your paid staff must go through the DCPS contractor clearance application process. Include the link here. We have included this language in past grant correspondence, so we just want to ensure that you are up to speed and adhering to the requirements of your partnerships with DC Public Schools. And then just as a reminder, all personnel should have certifications documented whether appropriate. So you do need to have 1 mandate reporter per program site. So those certificates must be uploaded to their staff profile in CitySpan. You must have 1 CPR first aid certified personnel per program site as well. So make sure those certificates are uploaded. And then as a quality assurance requirement this year, we are requiring 2 special populations trainings to be completed by the end of the school year. So please make sure those certificates are uploaded to staff profiles. So I apologize if I've been going a little quick because we have live guests today and I want to make sure they have adequate time. We're sharing here some links, once again, to ensure everyone has adequate guidance and technical support. We have ample resources on our service providers page. They're consistently being updated. The CitySpan user guide is undergoing some updates and will be updated, and the new version will be posted shortly. And then, of course, every Tuesday and Thursday, our data team has a very engaging technical support office hour meeting they offer from 12 to 1 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday. So if you ever need support, feel free to jump on there if you need help navigating the grants management system. Without further ado, I'm going to pass it to Ms. Abby Cohen from DCPS Partnerships. Abby, feel free to take it away.
Thanks so much, Mark. Appreciate it. Hi, everyone. I'm Abby Cohen. I'm the Director of Partnerships at DCPS. I do not want to take up too much of your time today, but we have this school year had some continued confusion around some of our partner requirements. And so I just wanted to make sure everyone had this information, had my contact information if you have any questions. On the screen is an overview of the basic requirements that a provider needs in order to operate in our building as a partner. The things I really want to call out is one, that you have a memorandum of agreement. That I think we've really done a good job of working with Mark and team of making sure as they get new grantees that we're able to get them processed and get a partnership agreement. But you do need a formal MOA with DCPS in order to serve in our buildings or work with our students as a DCPS partner. I'm really here to talk about our clearance process. So I'll just touch on that briefly here. As Mark said, everybody needs a DCPS clearance, and there are two types that your team might have. So I'll cover that in the next few slides. And then lastly, if you're a before or after school provider, making sure that you have that building use agreement with the Department of General Services covering the spaces that you're going to use and the schedule of your programming. So next slide, please, Mark. So I just wanted to sort of reintroduce, cover our clearance requirements and offer to answer any questions if there are any. So we can move to the next slide. So the DCPS requires that everybody that provides services, whether you're in person or virtually, paid staff member or a volunteer, that they complete the DCPS clearance process prior to providing services. We know that staff and volunteers change over, so want to make sure that folks have a process in place for ensuring that any newly hired staff members or identified volunteers are completing the DCPS process, and you have proof of their clearance before they begin working with students. Cleared individuals receive a DCPS clearance letter that indicates whether they're cleared as a volunteer or a contractor. And we recommend that you keep those letters for your own records, and that individuals provide those to the partner organization that they're working with, again, as evidence of their clearance. Those clearances are good for 2 years. And DCPS does not accept clearances from any other jurisdiction or agency within the district, including DCHR. So we know that folks sort of sometimes might bounce between a charter school, a DCPS school, maybe not even a school building at all. So want to be really clear that in order to be working with DCPS students in our buildings or under the partnership with the district, that those individuals do need DCPS clearances. Next slide. Yeah, so this is an overview of the requirements. If you've been here for a few years, you'll know that in the early 2020s, there was a lot of shifting in what's required. It's much more streamlined now. Everybody gets fingerprinted. There's a TB assessment, a tuberculosis assessment built into the DCPS application. So if needed, someone might need to do a TB test. There's a sex offender registry check that's also built into the DCPS clearance application. And then if you are a contractor, you also need to do a drug test. Next slide. The big thing I want to emphasize is that the expectation is that our partners have a process in place for proactively tracking your staff and volunteer clearance information. This should be part of your hiring, onboarding process, something that's monitored. We need to make sure that clearances are kept up to date over the duration of somebody's service. So just really want to underscore the importance of having a clear process in place for tracking this information for your staff and volunteers, and to flag that if this is not enforced and we become aware that folks are in the building without a valid DCPS clearance, at a minimum, it will result in program disruptions if you don't have enough cleared staff members to continue providing programming. And in the case of a severe violation of this expectation or continued violation of the expectation, it could ultimately result in the termination of your MOA with DCPS. Next slide, please. So I saw a question about just how do we distinguish between the two. I will not read all these words on the slide, but the next two slides outline the steps for contractors versus volunteers. Again, the only difference is that a contractor needs the drug test. What distinguishes someone from being a contractor versus being a volunteer is whether or not they are paid. So if you pay an individual for their services to DCPS, I don't know why we would be paying them, but if we pay them, if anybody is being paid by anybody to work and support DCPS programming, they are considered a contractor. So your part-time, full-time staff who you are compensating would need to go through the contractor clearance. On the next slide, you'll see the process and the definition for volunteers, which is just the inverse of that. Anyone who is volunteering. So if you have, community volunteers who come in through your program to do tutoring or mentoring, they would be considered volunteers because they are not receiving compensation for their work with DCPS. And so they do not need to complete the drug test. And this is all in sort of informed by the district's law related to clearances. that. Oh, my last slide is just some tips and tricks. So some of the things we see pop up sometimes is obviously ensuring that you have a process in place for collecting and tracking DCPS clearance status for your staff and volunteers. Sometimes folks will say, oh, yeah, I haven't heard anything. I tried. And oftentimes those people haven't even yet submitted their DCPS clearance application. So, making sure that folks have actually hit submit on that. Um, folks who are applying should list your organization's email as a secondary point of contact in their clearance application so you can be included in that back and forth. And then if you do need help tracking or you want a status update of someone's clearance status, you can reach out to the DCPS clearance team, which I realize I did not put their contact information on this slide, so I'll drop it in the chat. And you can include the individuals. They usually like to have an Excel spreadsheet with the individual's full name, legal name that they use to apply, and then either the last 4 digits of their social or their birth date, so they can make sure they're matching to the right person. I saw a question around. So if you're just renting space in a DCPS building to host your own event, you don't need clearances for that one-time event. What I'm talking about is specific to your ongoing programming with DCPS. So that's when the clearances are required. Oh, sorry. So the question is just about building use. It's once you have the school, it varies on the school's responsiveness, right? They have to sign the application for facilities use, and then you submit it to DGS at least 20 business days before the event. And then the timeline on that all depends on how fast your insurance gets reviewed by the DC Office of Risk Management, security gets scheduled, et cetera. So DGS does ask for those applications to be in at least 20 business days before you would need access to the space. So I'll drop my email and the clearance team's email in the chat. If you have any questions, please reach out. My big takeaway here is just to make sure that you all have a process in place for tracking clearance status and ensuring that folks are fully cleared before they begin working with our students and then for the duration of their services. So thank you so much for your time. Thanks, Mark, for letting me join today.
Thank you so much, Abby. And when we distribute the slides and the recording of today, I'll also include DCPS clearance team's email address. So certainly in touch with them, and want to make sure everyone has that, as they will answer your questions. Just FYI, for any interested grantees, they are very responsive. Thank you so much again, Abby. Really insightful, informative presentation. Hopefully just clarifies things in general for anyone online who works at DC Public Schools. Likely you are following these processes, but just always good to be reminded, especially the differentiation between the contractors and the volunteers. Awesome. Thanks again to DCPS Partnerships. And we will segue now to our grantee partners. First of whom is Capital Movement, Inc. And I believe we have Jamilla from Capital Movement.
Yes. Hi, good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. My name is Jamilla. I am currently working with Capital Movement as their studio manager and social media manager. I'm actually a founding member or dancer of Capital Movement when we were established in 2005. Next slide. Our company was founded by 2 beautiful women, Stephanie Jajokian and Amber Yancey. And our mission is to build better lives through dance. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit in DC, looking to provide accessible and affordable dance for dancers of all ages. We are woman-owned, and we also partner with DCPS through our outreach programs, teaching after school dance programs in the city. Next slide. We're going to kind of focus on our teen apprentice company. So we are actually built with 3 companies. We have a kids company, which is ages 5 through 12. We have a teen apprentice company, which is ages 13 to through 17, and then an adult company 18 and up. So our adult company, I think we've had dancers from the age of 18 to almost into their 50s. All of our directors actually danced in the company. A few of them are featured here, but we'll talk about our apprentice program. They are ages, as I mentioned, 13 through 17. And they actually train with our adult company. So we have classes that we provide on Sundays for our kids. And then we have what we call our intermediate advanced classes, where our company members and those that would like to come dance with Capital Movement outside of our companies train together. Okay, next slide. This year, we did implement some mentoring programs outside of our outreach programs with DCPS, which we call our CMI mini families. So our adult companies are actually paired with an apprentice and also someone from our kids program, where we can mentor them throughout the year. Our season starts in the fall and ends in the spring. And then we also do some stuff throughout the year in the summertime. And actually in this picture, ironically, two of them on the very far left is going to be our apprentice director. And then that is her daughter that actually dances with us. That is another CMI member next to her, and then one of our CMI kids as well. Okay, next slide. So we did get some testimonials from a couple of our dancers. Mackenzie, who's featured in the middle, is a senior now and a part of our apprentice program. She's actually been dancing with us since she was a CMI kid. So I believe this is her 10th season with us. And I'm just going to sort of read her testimonial that she wrote to us. Over the past few seasons, my experience working with the adult company members has been incredibly meaningful. I truly look up to them, and I believe they have played a major role in helping me grow and better myself as a dancer every day. I admire the variety of techniques and styles they bring into the movement, which has inspired me to improve and refine my own. I'm especially grateful that they take the time out of their own practices to support and guide me. The feedback they give me is always extremely helpful and has pushed me to continue to improve. When we met Mackenzie, when she was 8, I believe, because she's about to turn 18, once she graduates, she was a very shy young lady, and dance has honestly brought a lot of confidence. You see it when she hits the stage. You see it now when she just walks up to the desk at the studio, just the confidence that she now exudes, and glad that CMI could be a part of that. Okay, next slide. We did feature a CMI kid company as well, because we thought that hers was inspiring. She's been with us for 2 years, and she'll actually graduate to become an apprentice next year. And Allison Flores also said, for me, dancing with the adult company is such an honor. I love dancing, especially with people who are older than me, because it makes me feel protected. It makes me feel like they got my back. It's like I'm learning, not learning from them, but learning with them. They are dancing with me every step of the way. I think she's meant of the way. It's like I am surrounded with people who are strong, powerful, kind, and caring. It's different than dancing alone. It's like dancing over a warm, soft blanket that is always around and that is always protecting me. We just thought this was a great example to show you guys that someone that's just been becoming a part of the company just feels very welcomed, and we're excited to see her grow as a dancer as well. Okay, next slide. Capital Movement, obviously we are going into our 21st year here in the DC metropolitan area. And since its inception, CMI has worked in the community to fill our mission of building better lives through dance, through a combination of studio classes, dance workshops, 3 unique companies, outreach programming, scholarship opportunities, a variety of community performances. Capital Movement aims to make dance accessible and affordable in the DC area. It's really nice to see Capital Movement grow over the years. I've obviously been there as a dancer, and then behind the scenes, here are just a couple pictures or examples of things we do, where it's a kids class or whether or not we're partnering with other schools in the city. We perform at the Cherry Blossom Parade every year and partner with schools in DC. We do outreach in DCPS schools. And my favorite event, because we do have our annual show coming up in April, is called our Free Day of Dance, where we bus DCPS kids in to see our show before the actual show, which is technically our dress rehearsal. And when I say the energy in the room is absolutely amazing, and to expose kids that may never get to go to the Lincoln Theater and see a dance performance is is I'm sorry, I got lost for words because I get a little emotional every time I see the show. It's just inspiring to see then so many walk out saying, "Ooh, I would love to do that one day too." And thank you guys. I appreciate you guys giving us some time to talk about capital movement.
Thank you so much, Jamilla. That was really beautiful testimonies, especially from your experience. It seems like you've been there for the long haul, and then seeing these young people from, you know, whether they just began the program or they've been in the program for 10 years, which is remarkable. I mean, I think that speaks volume when you have that long-term impact. You know, when you have young people who are committed to the program, obviously their families are. If they wouldn't be in it for 10 years, they were not. And that's the whole purpose of the service, is really to support that youth development into adulthood, and really find things that pique their interest and help them develop and grow. And so really
Yes.
appreciate your commitments and the way you demonstrate it here. It's really beautiful.
Thank
Hopefully
you
some
so
folks
much.
could definitely, if you can, put an email address if anyone's interested in learning about your April celebration. And if you want, you certainly should send it to learn24@dc.gov, and we can feature it in the next newsletter.
Awesome. I definitely will. Thank you guys. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jamila. Thanks again. We're going to shift gears to Ms. Brandi Forte from Amala Lives.
Hey, can you guys hear me? If you can
We
hear
can
me,
hear
snap
you.
your fingers. Okay. My name is Brandi Forte. I'm the founder and executive director of Amala Lives. And I just wanted to I wanted to pay homage to the female poets that we are studying this month in lieu of Women's History Month. Before I was a business owner and got into this whole adulting, I was a poet, and I was able to open up for poets like Intozaki Shangi, Nikki Giovanni, and Kaniki Jakarta. So I would like to open up the presentation. We can go to slide 1, well, slide 2. We said, what is Women's History Month? Okay, you're on what is poetry? Yeah, what is poetry?
Right. I'd back to
That's fine.
Women's History Month. Yeah.
What is history? What is Women's History Month? For us, we are mothers, we are daughters, we are sisters, and really, Women's History Month is a global and international experience of being a woman. I think Sojourner Truth said it the most when she said, "Ain't I a woman?" And when Maya Angelou said, "I'm a phenomenal woman." And so Women's History Month is truly celebrating the essence and embodiment of what we do as women. We can go to the next slide. What is poetry? Poetry is a feeling, it is a verse unheard of, it is spoken word, it is lyrical. Poetry inspires, it allows us to share our voice, it allows us to speak to what we experience in our communities and our homes. I would say that poetry is a healer, poetry is a feeling. Poetry is both peace, love. Poetry is the stories that we don't want to tell, but we do tell them. So that is poetry. Next slide. Child, we love us some Nikki Giovanni at Amala Lives, okay? We know that Nikki Giovanni, the late Nikki Giovanni, she's a famous African-American poet and world-renowned poet. She was born in Tennessee. She would often write about Black pride, family, and love. She would encourage young people to believe in themselves. And in a tribute to Nikki Giovanni, I just wanted to spit a few verses of Ego Tripping. I was born in the Congo. I walked to the Fertile Crescent and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star that only glows every 100 years falls into the center, giving divine perfect light. I mean, I am bad. I sat on the throne drinking nectar with Allah. I got hot and sent an ice age to Europe to cool my thirst. My oldest daughter is Nefertiti. The tears from my birthdays create the Nile. I am a beautiful woman. I mean, I gazed on the forest and burnt out the Sahara Desert with a packet of goat's meat and a change of clothes. I crossed it in 2 hours. I'm a gazelle, so swift you can't catch me. For a birthday present when he was just 3, I gave my son Hannibal an elephant. He gave me Rome for Mother's Day. My strength flows ever on. My son Noah built new ark, and I stood proudly at the elm. As we sailed on a soft summer day, I turned myself into myself. It was Jesus. I mean, men intoned my lying name. I caught a cold and blew my nose, giving oil to the Arab world. I am so hip, even my errors are correct. I sailed west to reach east and had to round off the earth as I went. The hair, my head, thinned and gold was laid across these continents. I am so perfect, so divine, so ethereal, so surreal. I cannot be comprehended except by my permission. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky. I can fly. That's ego tripping.
Hey, next slide.
Next slide, we know Intozaki Shangi. She was a playwright and storyteller. I mean, she was known for her powerful choral poems that spoke to women's experiences. Her famous work we saw in a movie was for color girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough. Janet Jackson was in that film. Um, it spoke volumes. If I could recommend any book for any, I would say teens, it would be for color girls only. Next slide. So we have a local poet that we wanted to pay homage to. Her name is Kaniki Jakarta. She is a creative poet and storyteller. She uses poetry to explore identity and culture. She encourages so many young people in the DMV to express her poets. She was like the #1 slam poet for the DMV. She became one of the most influential DC poets and the laureate for the city of Alexandria, Virginia. Her work reminds us that every story matters. Next slide. Our voice matters. What we can learn from these poets, we can learn to believe in our voice, to be proud of who we are, and that creative can inspire others, and that words have power. Thank you for my presentation.
Thank you, Brandi. That was really wonderful, and thank you for bringing the spirit of the late great Nikki Giovanni in the room. I've seen her speak. She's phenomenal. She was a professor also at Virginia Tech in Roanoke, and it's a great documentary about her online. But I imagine that the youth of Amala Lives have been enjoying their deep dive into poetry and exceptional women in poetry, exceptional Black women in poetry this past month. Have there been any highlights, or have the youth been creating poems themselves, or how has that been kind of
Yes, so they
transpiring
just,
there?
yeah, so they just started writing their first verses, their first series of verses. Um, and they're also going to work on a choral poem to be able to close out in April, since we're closing out. We also have a Day of Poets, the first Tuesday in April, where we will have local poets to come in and rock the mic. So this year has been amazing. Amala Lives, we're located in Kenilworth Recreation Center. We have been in Ward 7 for 15 years. We'll celebrate 16 years in July. And definitely I'll put our email in the chat. I appreciate all of the support that the OST office has given us. Mark, you're amazing. Thank you guys.
Thank you, and definitely please send anything if you want about the Day of Poets to be included in the Learn 24 newsletter. Shoot that over to learn24@dc.gov, and if you have any information there, share if it's open to the public.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you again. Shout out to Brandi and Amala Lives. who serve at former neighborhood that I used to be very active in Kenilworth and Parks and community. So very grateful that you all continue that service. For our final grantee guest today. Oh, we have some resources. Okay, here we are. All right, Ms. Kesley Norton from YWCA. Kesley, you're with us.
I'm here. Good morning, barely, everyone. My name is Kesley Norton. I am the manager of youth programs for the YWCA National Capital Area. I've been there for about 5 years, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit today about what the work that we do as an organization and specifically with young girls in DC. You can go to the next slide. So YWCA National Capital Area has a long history of empowering women and girls in the DC area. We're over 120 years old, founded in 1905, and one of the largest and oldest organizations, multicultural organizations in the DC area, specifically serving women and girls and dismantling the barriers that they face. We offer a variety of services, including career education and training. We have our Empowered Community Center, which offers food pantry and clothing closet, legal workshops for immigrants. We've started doing this year, creating family resource plans for immigrants in case they're detained. And we also do like a backpack drive and Thanksgiving and holiday angel tree and a variety of services for women and girls and families in DC. You can go to the next slide. So we are supporting girls at a critical moment in the middle school years, which are pivotal for identity and confidence. This is the time where many girls, research shows that their confidence drops in middle school. At the same time, they're learning to become leaders in their community or kind of figuring out what their place is and where they're going and who they want to be. And so we work with them in social emotional learning and STEM. STEM we use kind of as a vehicle to show them new opportunities and expand their horizons. And we work with creating belonging and creating a safe space for the girls to explore who they are and who they want to become. You can go to the next slide. So the Empower Girls program is our school year program. It's a school-based leadership and enrichment program. We go into several DCPS middle schools and we do STEM and social emotional learning, as I said, with the girls. We use primarily a curriculum from a group called Tech Bridge Girls. They are based out of Oakland, but nationwide, and they create curriculum that's centered around belonging for BIPOC girls in STEM. And so what that means is showing young girls, people who look like them, who have been successful in STEM fields, and helping them kind of experience and explore STEM for themselves. So typical lesson with the Inspire curriculum, which is the one that we're predominantly using, features kind of, they call it like a STEM superhero, who's like a young girl who's done something innovative in a STEM field. And then they do an experiment kind of related to the innovation that the young girl created. So one of the ones that we really like is there's a drink creation one. They honor a girl who created she was diabetic and she created a diabetes-friendly sports drink, and then they mix their own sports drinks with diabetes-friendly, low-sugar ingredients, and they really like to mix them and sample them. And so that's just one of the things that we do in Empower Girls. You can go to the next slide. Our summer program is called Empower STEAM Summer Academy. It's a hands-on summer academy. We call it an academy because we want to focus on learning and not just like a camp. We have a lot of things that camps have, like circle time and icebreakers and activities like that. But we also, the girls go to about 3 hours of instruction throughout the day on various STEM topics. Thank you, Camille. Um, and so like each week has a different STEAM theme. We integrate art into STEM. So science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, which I believe can provide an entry point into STEM and make it more accessible, but also like lends itself really well to a lot of experimenting and tinkering that happens within the STEM fields. A lot of it is very artistic. So it's a really great program. It culminates in a parent showcase at the end, and we have a lot of fun. Next slide. So our focus in both of our programs is building skills for the future for girls. We want participants to leave with confidence in their abilities, leadership and teamwork skills, exposure to new career pathways, and a strong sense of belonging. With both programs, we have girls who have done the program for several years in a row. And it's really great. Not 10 years, although we did have one girl who came back, who was a participant in Empower STEAM, who came back to work on Empower STEAM staff several years later. So we like to see them kind of develop and grow over time as they continue to participate in our programs. Next slide. So for Women's History Month, we continue to offer many of the programs that we have been offering and highlight women throughout history. We had a staff retreat this week to focus on honoring Women's History, International Women's Day, and Women's History Month in general, and kind of tying it into the work that we do and using it as a framework for everything that we do. And then with the girls, this month, I did this project. There's a little poster. It's kind of small, but celebrating influential women. It was like a little mini research project where they went online and they found an influential woman to feature, and then found some facts about her, filled it out. They shared them at Hart Middle School. They hung them around the office. Yesterday, we were really excited and really proud of them, and I'll be doing it at Brown Elementary or Education Campus this afternoon. Next slide. And that's pretty much it. The future is bright. I chose a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt: "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." We really believe that when girls are supported and empowered, entire communities benefit. And so we focus on starting with them when they are in middle school and building them up through adulthood. So thank you for the OST office for supporting the work that we do.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. Wow, that was really a beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
Everything from the STEM aspects, and the focus there, and like just piquing their interest from the arts, and of course, kind of focusing on that cultivation of skills and all the fun experiments they get involved with. And then really love that influential woman poster concept, the research project. I'm glad they're able to share it at schools like Hart and Brown. So that's phenomenal there, because you're taking it around town and really kind of promoting this messaging and having young girls, set the examples. And so I really like the messaging about the kind of support and empowerment of young girls, that the benefit resonates with the entire community. So that was powerful, and really grateful for you to present today.
I will drop my email in the chat as well. So I saw one person that wanted to connect. So thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you guys.
Thank you. And definitely shout out to all three of our esteemed grant-funded partners: Capital Movement Inc., Amala Lives, and YWCA, the National Capital Area. Way to celebrate Women's History Month and honor women and the accomplished women, and just everyday lives, for the young people around the city. So really appreciate you all, and hopefully for other grantees partners online, you've learned some things. Maybe you can take these practices back, or maybe you're already doing this work. But we do have 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop sharing our presentation so I can see you all. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask at this time. For either our grantees, our partners, or myself. Check the chat because I have not had a chance to see it.
I have a question about the PQA.
Certainly.
So for the 3 assessors,
Mhm.
I'm a team of 1.5.
Okay.
So should I get like other people from my organization to come in and observe and serve as assessors, or is that like how would you recommend managing that?
Yeah. Well, generally, the best practice, I only have one administrative staff member, so that would probably be you. You can have volunteers, a parent, a program
Okay.
partner staff member. It could be an intern, it's always great to have like different viewpoints, different positions. That way they're coming in objectively, they're bringing their own experiences there. So the goal is, minimum 3, and that each of them complete
Okay.
those independent assessments before you all come together to form that one uniform assessment.
Sure. A youth assessor is a great idea.
Yeah,
I
it's
could definitely get one of
honestly,
Camille just put in the chat. Yeah, I could definitely get one of my 8th graders at heart to assess the younger group,
that
the
would be
6th
good. I
graders.
mean, generally you want, well, yeah, if they're assessing a younger group, that's good. Generally you want someone a little more older, but I think, if you have an older heart student, maybe they're 14 or something like that, just, a little more
Yeah.
developmental to understand, the tool is always helpful. I did, when I was a grantee, we did have some older teens who were volunteers. They were about 17 or 18 as an assessor one year, and it definitely made a difference.
Okay. Okay, great. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Camille had a great quote.
Yes.
Middle
Yes,
schoolers are famous
middle
for that.
schoolers will tell
It's true.
you whatever you do or don't want to hear.
This is true. They will keep it 100 if you guide them, accordingly on how
Yeah.
to assess. And of course, the main thing is the objective note taking, and then of
Mhm.
course scoring based upon those objective notes. So, and then once you all come together, you have pretty good establishment. So even if there's some scores that differentiate, the final score set shouldn't be able to, provide a clean slate there.
Great. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions from anyone? Any questions for any of our grantee guests that joined today? Any highlights anyone wants to share from any of the grantees online? Anything exciting taking place in your program that you think everyone should hear about? Let me call folks out. I see Tim here from Tech Turnip. Tim, anything you'd like to share today?
I just say I enjoyed the presentations, and thank you, Mark, for that as well. I think it's helpful, and just finding ways to who you possibly could collaborate. I had no idea. I'm looking forward to meeting the last presenter. How do I say it? Kelly? How do I say your name again? Kelsey. I look forward to possibly talking with you, Kelsey. I really like what you're doing, especially with the young girls. We struggle in our program to get more young girls involved in our STEAM program. So definitely would like to trade notes,
Yeah,
talk to
definitely.
you, see is a way of collaborating. So I had no idea. That's great. I look forward to being in touch with you.
Thank you.
Tim, I'm sure you see Kelsey put her email address in the chat box. I'm happy to make an intro, but Kelsey, for your reference, Tim founded Tech Turnup that does truly dynamic computer coding and STEM-based programming, website development, and video game development, everything under the sun,
Awesome.
AI stuff, things that are well beyond my comprehension, but I've seen it in action several times. Even our data evaluations manager, DeAndre, joined me once to the site visit, and it's amazing when you see these kids plugged in, like they are all like just really dialed in and understand this language and developing very comprehensive projects online or video games, websites, you name it.
Awesome. Yeah, Tim, I look forward to connecting.
Yeah, thank you. You as well.
Always great to have unity in the community. Well, it is 11:54. If there are no other questions, we will give you all back some time with your day, because I'm sure you all have plenty of things to do. So thank you again to all of our presenters and our partners and everyone who was able to join us online. Thank you to Jamilla, Brandi from Amala Lives, and Kesley from YWCA. We'll certainly circulate the recording and the PowerPoint slide deck to all grantees, so everyone gets a copy. But we appreciate you all. Stay safe, stay warm with the rain, and keep doing the great work, enriching and engaging young people in the District of Columbia.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you
day.
all. Have a great rest of your
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Thanks for joining.